Hello, my curious little explorers. Welcome back. Today, I'm going to talk about a very exciting thing that is inside us, inside all of us. It is inside me, it is inside you, it is inside of everybody around us. What is that? That's correct. Today, we are going to talk about the human skeletal system. Skeleton is nothing but our bones which keep our body erect. So this is a human skeleton from the front. This is a human skeleton from the behind. We will understand what kind of bones we have, what are the uses of these bones, and how it helps us to live our day-to-day life. Are you excited? Yes, I'm sure you are. So come on, let's learn about the human skeletal system. Now, first of all, we've got to find out how the structure and functions of the human respiratory, digestive, circulatory, skeleton, muscular, and nervous systems are interconnected. Oh, what does that mean? This is very simple. Now, our body is controlled, or our body lives according to various systems. Just like a machine has many systems, our human body also has various systems in our body that control us and allow us to live. There are vital organs, and it is run through this system. Now the nervous system, it controls our brain and our other body system. Then there's the digestive systems that helps our food turn into energy. And then there is a respiratory system which helps us to breathe with the help of our lungs and our nose and our windpipes and etc. Then we have our muscular system which allows us to move. And there is circulatory system which supplies blood to all parts of the body from where? From the heart. That's correct. Now let's learn about the skeletal system of our body. All right. So the skeletal system provides shape and form to the body. It also protects the internal organs and helps us to move our body. Now, what does this mean? Now you see that our body, all our human bodies has a very specific shape. We stand erect. We have our two hands, we have our two legs, we have our torso, we have our head. Now, have you ever seen that some human being has some other shape, like some human being is like a circular, or somebody's elongated shape, somebody's oval shape, somebody's squishy, somebody's hard, somebody's messy? No, normally all human beings have a similar shape, they have a similar body structure. Like, let me give you another example. When you make a house is made up of, first of all, you create the structure of the house using the iron rods and iron bars. Then upon that structure, you build up the walls and you build up the your interior decoration and everything. So this is how a house is made. Now in human body also, first of all, a structure is made. On that structure, you get muscles, you get flesh, you get all your organs. So the basic structure of our body is called the skeletal system. The skeletal system is made up of bones. This framework of bones is called a skeleton. Now, normally on an average, there are 206 bones in an adult human body, to which softer tissues and other organs of the body are attached. That means all our organs and our tissues, they are attached to the bone. Let me tell you a fun fact. When you are born with many more bones. Let's see, let's Google how many bones we are born with. How many bones is a human born with? So, read this. A baby's body has about 300 bones at birth. These eventually fuse, or which means they grow together to form the 206 bones that adults have. Some of a baby's bones are made up of entirely of a special material called cartilage. Other bones in a baby are partly made of cartilage. So what it says is that we are normally born with 300 bones. Over the years, these bones, they come together, and in the end, any human being has 206 bones normally. Okay. Oh, let me tell you another interesting fact. The term skeleton, it comes from a Greek word which means dried up, because as you know, our bones are dried up, right? So let's see bone. What is a bone? So bones are made up of tissues which are dense and compact, and also tissues that are spongy. Now, compact bone is the hard protective exterior seen in all bones. Spongy bone is found inside the compact bone and is very porous. Bone tissue is made up of bone cells. Bone cells, along with the minerals stored in the bone, give the bones their strength and a certain amount of flexibility. What it means is that, see, this is a human bone. There is, first of all, there is a compact bone. This is the outer layer of the bone, the structure of the bone, which gives us the hardness. And inside the bone, we have spongy bone. This is like your slime. It is a little bit spongy. And then there are blood vessels, which gives the energy. And there is a thing called bone marrow. We learn about this. Now, about 2.6 million red blood cells are produced per second by the bone marrow. These new blood cells substitute those that are worn out. Minerals such as calcium and phosphorus are stored in the bones. Blood cells are produced by the marrow located in some bones. Now, what does it mean? Like I told you, there is a thing called bone marrow. What is the use of this bone marrow? It produces the red blood cells. Now, these red blood cells, they are very important for a human being to survive. So, if our bone marrow is damaged, it can be very harmful to a human being because it will not be able to create new red blood cells. Joints. Now, as you know that all our bones are interconnected. For example, the bone of my hand is connected to my wrist, to my arm, to my elbow, to my shoulder. So these are all joined together. Now, this is nothing but like how you connect two pieces of Lego or two pieces of puzzle using a joint. Now, the point at which two or more bones meet is called a joint. They allow us to move different parts of our body. Joints are categorized by their range of movement. Immovable or fibrous joints don't allow movement. Now, there are some joints which do not move. They stay in one place and they do not allow any movement. Now, the biggest example for this is the skull. The skull is made up of immovable bony plates. Now, if you see a human skull, let me show you a picture. Now, if you see a human skull, you can see that there are many bones which are fused together. See, there are bones here, there are bones here. These are all together. But most of these bones, they stay in one place only. They do not move. See, you can see that this is occipital bone, there is parietal bone, there is temporal bone. But these bones do not move. Our skull does not move just like that. So, it is the example of a fixed bone. This is a fixed joint that does not move. Even though they are joined together, it does not move. Freely movable joints move in different directions. They are present in different places in our body, such as hip. Now, we have a hip bone, as you know, like our legs are connected to our waist through our hip bone. And it is a movable joint because we are able to move our legs here and there. Then there is shoulder. Our arms are connected to our torso through the shoulder joint. Now, shoulder also, you know, as you can rotate a shoulder, you can move a shoulder. Then there is elbow. Our hand is connected, our forearm is connected to our bicep through the elbow. Now, this elbow joint is also something that you can move. You can bend your elbow, you can extend your elbow. Then we have knees. Knees connect our thighs to our lower legs. You can, as you know, if you want to sit, you can bend your knees or you can extend your knees. Wrist is again something that connects our hands to our arms. And ankles. What does ankle connect us to? The ankle joint connects our foot to our leg. So you know you can move our ankle, you can rotate it, you can extend it so that you can move your foot. Okay. So now these joints are also of different types. Let's learn about them. The first is ball and socket joint. The ball and socket joint allow movement in all directions. The hip and shoulder are examples of ball and socket joint. Now, what happens in ball and socket joint? That this allows you to move your arm or your leg in any direction. It is not just one fixed direction. For example, you can move your hand to the left, you can move your arm to your right, you can move your arm upwards, you can move your arm downwards, and you can even rotate your arm. This is because your shoulder joint is a ball and socket joint. You can move it on in all 360 directions. Even your hip, the same thing is with your hip. You can move your leg forward, backward, sideways, right side, left side because it is a ball and socket joint. Next come hinged joints. Now hinge joints, they allow movement in one direction only. Okay. Now see this. Our elbow is a hinge joint. Now which means is that now as you know that you can move your elbow, you can move your hand front and back using your elbow joint. You cannot move it in 360 degree direction. If you try to bend your elbow upside down, it will break or it will pain. So hinge joints allow movement in one direction only. They include joints in the fingers, like you can only close and extend your fingers. You can like open or close your fingers. You cannot move your fingers 360 degree, or you cannot bend your fingers 360 degrees. Then toes, elbows, knees, etc. These are all hinge joints. Like hinges on a door, which it allow it to open one way. What does the word hinge means? Let me show you a hinge. Hinge is usually found in a door, which allows a door to open and close. Door hinge. Let me show you. So see, in a door, you will normally see this. See, I'll show you better image. Door with a hinge. Now, as you can see, this is a door. Now, this is a hinge in the door, which allows the door to close or open, because this is basically a foldable joint which will move whenever, if the door will close, it will collapse, it will fold into itself, and when the door will open, the hinge will open. So how a hinge works in a door, this is a hinge. See how a hinge works in a door, it also works in a joint. Now I'll give you a small task. Today, after you watch this video, go and check out your door of your room, and you will be able to spot the hinge, and you will be able to compare it with the hinge in your joints. Okay, like the hinges on a door which allow it to open one way, hinge joints bend the arms and legs in one direction. Next comes the gliding joints. Now gliding joints are composed of several interconnected bones with many joint surfaces. They allow sideways movements as well as movements in one direction. The wrist and ankles have gliding joints. Now, as you know, you can move your wrist left to right, or you can move your wrist up and down. This is because of gliding joint. Then comes pivot joints. Pivot joints are found where the rounded surface of one bone fits into the ring of the another. The vertebrae that allows us to nod and shake our head are examples of pivot points. Now see, this is our vertebrae. Vertebrae is nothing but our spinal cord. Now it is connected to our head. Now this allows us to shake our head, to move our head upside down, upside down. So this is a pivot joint. Okay. Next important thing in our skeletal system is our human skull. Now the skull, if you ask me, is one of the most important bone in our human body. Why? The skull is the bony framework that protects our brain. It is made up of 8 cranial and 14 facial bones. All the bones in the skull are immovable except for the lower jaw. The immovable cranial bones form the protective framework around the brain. The lower jaw enables us to talk and eat. The lower as well as the upper jaws have teeth. Let me show you a better image of this skull so that I can explain the cranial bones. Human skull, cranial bones. So see, this picture is showing you all the cranial bones of the skull. See, this is a frontal, sphenoid, then there is ethmoid, there is parietal, temporal, occipital. These are all cranial bones. Now, total, how many bones are there? These are the total bones in a human skull. Let the image load. Till then, let me remove the partition. So there are 8 cranials and 14 facial bones. So total how many are there? 22. Let's see if that image is loaded. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So these are the other bones, I mean like major bones of the skull. Now let's see. Yes, see, these are the important, all the bones of the skull. Now you can see that jawbone is the only bone in the skull which you can move. So otherwise the rest of the skull, all these bones are immovable. So the jaw is the only bone that you can move while talking. All right. So let's now move on to the next point. Now, in our next class, in our next lecture, we will talk about the remaining important bones like rib cage, vertebral column, limbs, etc. Alright. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. If you have any doubts, please drop me a comment and I will be happy to answer you. Happy learning, my explorers. Bye bye.